What's going on YouTube? It's your boy mktrill, and I can't believe I just started the video that way, but I did. Here we are. Alright, so I want to try to do something a little bit different today. Most of you guys know me as this live streamer, the few that are probably going to watch this, but this is my first video editing, or my first video game video editing, I should say. I've done some minor stuff here and there. But what I want to do is figure out what the fastest car in GTA is, at least, a good portion of them. I don't know if I could test every single car on there, but I will test the majority. The way we came about doing this is because I was driving the Duke of Death one day, and as I parked it in my garage, you'll see later on that my garage, I have both my Duke and Duke of Death parked next to each other. They have the same color scheme and everything, and then I realized something. One's armored, one isn't. Does that change anything? I mean, basically they're the same car. So it wouldn't surprise me if Rockstar grabbed the stats from one car and just copy-pasted it to the other car and added a little more armor. Especially because it blows up with one grenade and everything like that. It just has a little bit of armor, sorry about that, for blocking you from bullets. So I decided to test it out. And this is a test. As you saw right there real quick, this is 1 lap of 10. This is the best lap I did out of 10 laps. Why 10 laps? Because it gives me an easier indication of what my average and or what my best is. So if I do 3 laps, I might do bad on all 3. Does that mean that the car is that bad? No, I just did that bad. If I do 10 laps, then it gives me a higher chance of doing a really good lap. The best lap I can do. And if I am going to, judge these, I'm going to judge it off of the best lap, not the total lap. Because especially like filming this, I was getting really tired after the second one, and I wasn't doing as good. So, again, 10 laps, it gives me the highest chance of doing good. So one thing to note about this car right here, the Duke, the regular Dukes, is the handling is a little tricky. And by a little tricky, I mean it does drift like you'd expect a muscle car to drift, but not as much as you'd expect it to drift. So it does drift, but not like a terrible amount. There's cars out there, especially the Fudo, that, they'll slip right under you. You can't control it. This car has a good drift for a muscle car. On top of that, it has really good brakes. It comes to a stop really fast. I don't know the exact stats, I didn't really pay attention to that, but it comes to a stop fast. The turning, if you're not drifting, then you're taking this wide angle turn. Like that one right there, that was not a sharp turn. And I don't understand how it can go from such a loose car to such a tight car in a matter of seconds, but it does. And it has quite a bit of torque, which means it is going to try to slip under you. It's gonna spin out at at the beginning of a lap, or when you're stopped. It's gonna spin tires pretty much, but that's to be expected from a muscle car. Nothing out of the ordinary. So here we're gonna come out to a top speed lap of 2 minutes 6 seconds and 426 milliseconds, as you can see here. Again, we're going off of top lap. Now we're gonna try to do the same thing with the Duke of Death. So tell me right now in the comments, what do you think? Is the Duke of Death going to be any different than the Duke? See, here's the Duke, and there's the Duke of Death. Literally the same car, just has armor plating on it. Is it going to be slower because of the armor plating? What's going to be different? And I have them both fully customized, as far as customization allows me to customize them. So here we are. This is the 9th lap. I didn't mention that on the last one. The last one was the 4th lap. This is the 9th lap. The 9th lap came out to be my best lap in the Duke of Death. Like I said, I was getting tired, and I'm not gonna lie, I think I dozed off a couple times during some of those laps, but I managed to hold it together and pull it off at the end. This was a pretty good lap, actually, I gotta say. The turning radius is same as the other one. Brakes are the same as the other one. It felt a little less loose than the other one, but that might just be in my head. And these cars were fun to drive in. I thoroughly enjoyed my experience with these cars. Now, it's going to be different for everybody. Obviously, preference is preference. And like I said, this car does drift a little bit. Me, I prefer cars that are a little loose like that. Loose means you drift more. Tight means you don't drift as much, but it takes wider turns. It's kind of the give and take of the whole situation. But I enjoy a car that drifts just a little bit. Not like too much, because too much drifting can get annoying, but a little bit. And like I said, this car has phenomenal brakes. I was kind of shocked on how good the brakes were. It's like, even to the point where sometimes I would take the turn wrong because the brakes slowed me down more than I expected. But that being said, this car is not gonna, I don't think is gonna win many races. That was a good drift right there. I don't think he's gonna win many races. I think this car is gonna come out to be towards the middle of the pack. Like I said, we don't have any. These are our base to judge everything else. And okay, so I messed up there. I hit that wall and I crashed into this guy, and my total time still came out to be slightly faster than the original Dukes. The Duke of Death came out to 2 minutes, 3 seconds, and 724 milliseconds. So like I said, Duke's 2 minutes, 6 seconds, Duke of Death 2 minutes, 3 seconds. 3-second difference. Is that a lot? No, not a lot. That could totally be user error. But as you saw, I did mess up twice on that lap and still managed to get there faster. So, what does that mean? It means they're very, very similar. Now, I'm going to put you side by side on a straightaway course. It's going to go from the, what is that called? The tower, it's a CEO tower, the Maze Bank Tower. It's going to go from there to Mount Chiliad. We're going to race them side by side and see which one gets there faster. So as you can see a little bit on the Duke of Death is on the right. As you can tell, the Duke's is on the left. Duke of Death, first person, terrible. You can barely see out the windows. It's all armored. Duke's windows aren't bad. You can see most of everything. The scoop does get kind of in the way, but that's personal choice. You can take that off easily and it won't be a problem. Top speed, I don't think I captured it too well, but it did look like the Duke of Death, as you can see, goes about 5 miles an hour, 4 miles an hour faster. So the Duke of Death does definitely have an advantage here. So this is just a straight race. In order to keep it balanced, I gassed it the whole time out. I was just holding acceleration. I didn't boost start because that might, I might miss it or it might affect it. I didn't even steer in this case. I let the car just straight run forward. So this is raw race. Raw muscle, I guess you could say. Yeah, I got a little bored. Just, this is a long race just to hold one button. But again, the outcome was a little bit of a shock. I was surprised. As you can see here, spoiler alert, the Duke of Death was faster in a straight line. Now, my only theory is because it's armored, it probably has a stronger engine. They probably upgraded the engine just a little bit to counteract the weight. So, Duke of Death versus Duke, what do I think? Honestly, I think the Duke of Death is your best bet. I think you are more likely. I mean, they're the same car, as you can see, 2 seconds faster, and armored. You can't go wrong with that. You really can't. Look at the time difference. You can see how far ahead the Duke of Death was to the Dukes. Now I'm gonna put the times up there. This is the Dukes. This is how all the stats on the Dukes. This is the Duke of Death. So it's up to you guys what you think. Like I said, personal preference. But I'm gonna put these two, Duke of Death #1 and Dukes #2. If you guys liked what you saw, go ahead and drop a like. Leave a comment. Let me know what you thought. If you guys have any ideas of any cars you want to see in the future, go ahead and leave those down there as well. And if you guys want to subscribe, it would be greatly appreciated. So as always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.
That's trill, homie.